Thank you. Am I audible? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Good morning, everyone. So lovely to see such a huge crowd. I'm from Bangalore, but since the last 6-7 years, I've been spending time in Hyderabad. And I've always felt the energy and the ecosystem in Hyderabad is just so inspiring. And I think Haisia and Samir have done such a great job to pull together such a huge audience. We heard Lalit speak, and then we saw a panel which had a lot of good friends of ours. I'm going to change the topic slightly in terms of looking at large enterprises to now looking at mid-market, private equity-backed companies. What does it take to kind of thrive in the AI era? And how do you kind of build the enterprise brain? Just in terms of sub-statistics, you'll be shocked in terms of the size and scale of the mid-market industry in itself. There are almost about 200,000 companies who are mid-market. If I were to put the economies of Japan and Germany together, $10 trillion is what the economy of mid-market is. 50 million people who are employed. And if I look at post-2020, and that's where I want to draw your attention because you have amazing leaders from GCCs. 60% of the GCCs post-2020 were mid-market. And within that, 60% of those GCCs were private equity backed. I'm sure you would have seen the reels around BlackRock and Blackstone and Vista and others owning pretty much the whole world. And that's what is exciting about this industry. But at the same time, like Amit was saying, you'll have to be entrepreneurial. I think the private equity and mid-market GCCs give you that opportunity. Give you that opportunity to be nimble, give you that opportunity to be innovative, and that's the context of my conversation today. I've seen a lot of GCCs, the flavor of the season, a lot of bloggers who speak about GCCs, but I want to correct some of the narrative, right? GCCs, especially in the segment which I kind of speak about, is not run on headcount. I'll give you an example. We have a GCC which is a 7-member GCC. 11 months soundbar launched in Las Vegas. We have a GCC which is building a treasury management system grounds up in India, leveraging the startup ecosystem. The head of product comes from Razorpay. You know, the theme of this conclave is leadership imperatives. I'm expecting a lot of startup ecosystem also to join this industry, which is growing at the pace and scale. And it is not about cost arbitrage. It's about value. Some of the GCCs are not even speaking about value tomorrow. They're looking at value today as they set up the GCC. Yesterday we were talking to a private equity backed company which is looking to set up a GCC in Hyderabad. And you won't believe this. The first set of resources they want to hire is forward deployed engineers tomorrow. Yeah? And lean pods in days and not months. You know, we're not talking about, oh, I need to be a 700-member GCC. No, you can be a 15-member GCC and be hugely valuable and entrepreneurial. So what's the moat, right? One more statistics for you to absorb. There is almost $3.2 trillion which private equities have invested in, and they need to provide the value back to the investors. They've been holding that asset since the last 5 years. What does that mean to GCCs? It means that these companies want to explore the talent in India. They want to explore the value which they can extract so that they can sell that asset. Private equity companies give you almost about 13% returns, unlike others which give you about 8 or 9%, which means that you need to be faster to respond to the market. And hence my question, do you want to adopt to this or do you want to drive this change? Which means that the skills which were required for you to become a program manager, build a talent ecosystem, to actually running a GCC independently, entrepreneurially, and lead this change. And that's where our conversations are. It's not about just lift shift, but it is about transform, lift, shift, or lift, transform, shift, right? And that's what we are advocating at this point in time in terms of looking at AI and adopting AI as you build this mid-market GCCs, right? And what do you mean by that? We always focus on GCCs which are, cloud native, which means that, oh, I need to get to a newer model of Sonnet and Opus and or Google Gemini. But it's the problem is not about the model. The model solves only 20% of the problem. It's the plumbing. So my next conversation which you need to start to have is how are you actually building the teams in your GCCs which are solving this issue? Are you owning the model or are you owning the plumbing? Which means that you cannot solve the issue of 20%, saying that, oh, my developers need to actually code much faster. Go beyond the code, because 20% of that code will get you velocity, but it will not solve a business problem. And so my question is, if you're building an independent GCC, how do you self-fund this? You need to be ambidextrous, which means that you need to exploit and explore at the same time. Exploit by delivering what the parent is asking you, which is velocity in terms of software development or product development. But also explore, which means that you need to be innovative. I'll give you an example. Can you solve the problem of churn for your parent organization? Because the signals don't come to you a month before. It comes to you almost 2 years before. Can I actually build a model of AI which can solve the churn issue? And that's the conversation which you need to have with your parent. And that's where the self-funding model is. You try and be efficient, but take that efficiencies to solve revenue problems for you, which is where I feel the future of GCCs is, whether it is large, very large GCCs or macro or nano GCCs. You will have to provide that value back to your parent organization. So my humble advice is, don't own the 20%, own the 80%. Context, plumbing, connections between the agents is the future. Build that enterprise brain, because you are the 60%, you are the enterprise. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want to have a conversation, I'm more than happy to have subsequent conversations with all of you. But thank you for the opportunity, Samir and Haisia. All the best for the entire session. Thank you.